Hi guys, so Liz Truss, the Foreign Secretary, has her eyes on number 10. She has been grooming herself for the position of Prime Minister for some time, and if you compare her voice today with how she spoke even just over a year ago, you'll notice a clear difference. Well, being Prime Minister obviously doesn't require the ability to be consistent, as Boris Johnson has demonstrated on numerous occasions. Here Truss was asked about a fellow Tory's comments on the cost of living crisis, and the Foreign Secretary made a fool of herself. Have a listen.
Office ministers told me just on Monday that people should work more hours and they won't be poor.
I think that's a mischaracterization of what she said, Kay. We know that it's very, very difficult times for people across the United Kingdom. We know that we are facing higher costs. This is a global phenomenon. There's high inflation across the world because of the energy price spike, because of the issues with Russia, Ukraine, because of the fact we're recovering from COVID. And we want to do all we can to support households through this difficult time whilst building a better economy for the future.
Well, there was an opportunity to do this on Tuesday when the Labour Party put forward a motion to impose a windfall tax on energy companies. And the head of Shell actually said that if a windfall tax had been imposed upon his company, it would not impact investment. Even though Boris Johnson and the Tories have said, well, we can't impose a windfall tax because they wouldn't invest. And the head of one of these companies said, yes, we would. But let's continue.
Which is why investment is so important, economic growth is so important.
How is it a mischaracterization of what she told me twice?
Well, you'll appreciate, Kay, that I've been working on the foreign affairs brief on issues like the Northern Ireland Protocol. So
I understand, but you're telling me
I didn't see the interview, Kay.
Well, there you go. How do you know then? How do you know it's a mischaracterization of the interview?
Because I know Rachel, and I know that she is somebody who cares deeply about making sure that people are able to get by, that we deal with this, this issue of inflation that we're facing in our economy. And I think you've mischaracterized what she said.
Well, if you didn't hear what what was part of the interview, then there we are. There were.
So how can you say that it was a mischaracterization if you didn't actually hear what it was? It makes absolutely no sense. But once again, this is Liz Truss, completely disconnected from reality, but also disconnected from the cost of living crisis that people are facing. Yesterday during the live stream, I showed a very sad clip of an elderly couple who are going to food banks now, and they've decided not to heat their home apart from one small room with a very small electric heater. This is the crisis people are facing. They need the government to help them out. And there's no point talking about 500 million for this and 200 million for that. If people are avoiding meals in order to avoid getting into debt over bills, then something has to happen. The government need to step in. They need to provide grants to people to deal with the cost of living crisis. It doesn't seem to be having anything that's been presented so far, doesn't seem to be having any impact. And once again, as I said at the beginning, the Labour Party put forward a motion to raise finance through a windfall tax, and every single Tory in the House of Commons voted against it. Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak were considering it. They said that they were considering it, but at the end of the day, they voted against it. Every single Tory. There was not one who voted with the Labour Party. Now, I hope people will remember that at the next election, because some Tories have a very slim majority. Ian Duncan Smith, I think, has a majority of over 1,000. Some have majorities of, hundreds. So I hope that's remembered at the next election. These are the people who voted against a windfall tax. Now, a windfall tax is not a panacea. It's not going to fix all problems, but it would provide the government with a huge amount of cash that they could use to spend to help people during this time of crisis. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.